Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. So as I've said many times before, I just bring to you on this channel what I am playing at the moment. That doesn't mean I'm going to bring you the absolute newest deck. It means that I'm going to bring you one of those decks that all those little content creators just threw out all at once so they could be first and then never look at again. Now I test all kinds of things. Pretty much every deck that you can think of I've got a copy of, and I have tried at least 2 or 3 times. But as an individual deck starts to stand out, I narrow the focus in on those decks. Now, there are 4 decks that I am playing a lot right now. Those are just a straight Blaziken EX deck, a Mega Manectric EX deck, Mega Lucario EX, and today's deck. I love all of these, so to pick one for today, I just picked the one that I've played the most, and that is Alakazam. I've said before here, when I go to shows, I always have a backpack with a handful of decks. One of those physical decks that I still carry with me everywhere is Tinkaton EX. And this build for Alakazam is almost a carbon copy of the one that I have built for Tinkaton. It's updated with new cards, of course. But as crazy as the damage gets in Tinkaton, I think it hits higher numbers with Alakazam at times. Let's look at Alakazam first, then go from there, because there are a ton of moving pieces in here, all of which combine to make this list just draw like crazy. The Alakazam is a Stage 2, 140 HP, single prize psychic type. It has 1 ability, 1 attack, weakness to dark, resistance to fighting, and a 1 energy retreat cost. Now the ability is called Psychic Draw, and when you play Alakazam from your hand to evolve, either in regular evolution or by rare candy, you may draw 3 cards, and this pairs with his previous evolution, Kadabra, who sports the same ability of the same name, except it only draws 2 cards when he evolves. These guys feed Alakazam to only attack, which is called Powerful Hand. For 1 psychic energy, puts 2 damage counters on the active for each card in your hand. So simply stated, you count the cards in your hand and double it, and that's what it does. Now the Alakazam line just scratches the surface of what allows you to draw in this deck. Now I think people are familiar with the Dunsparce and Xatu at this point, but the Dunsparce with his ability lets you draw 3, then shuffle that Dunsparce back into your deck so you can keep recycling him. And Xatu lets you, with its Clairvoyant Sense, attach a basic psychic energy to one of your bench Pokemon and draw 2 cards. Now, I've been playing this combo in Tinkaton EX, which I think was a little bit of a change over the deck video I did on Tinkaton a while ago, which again I can make an archive later of updated lists if subscriberships ever get me to monetization, but we'll cross that bridge if we ever get there. Anyway, this combo works great and is even better with the A-Spec, and I'll get to that in a minute. But staying on the Pokemon, I threw in Chatot and Tatsugiri just to add escape hatches for bad starts. A Chatot gets 3 basics onto your bench with his acapella attack, so it's basically just a better call for family if you go second. And Tatsugiri is there for the attract customers ability. That just lets you look at the top 6 cards of your deck and take a supporter, so it's just basically a Pokegear. You can use any turn that you get him in your active spot. Finally, I added a Shaman because one of the first games I recorded was against Grimmsnarl. I still almost beat it, but that 30 damage combined with the Monkey Dory was just too much for all of the low HP basics in my list. I can definitely see adding the new Stadium Battle Cage in here at some point, but for now, this is how this list is built, and it's working pretty well, so I'm just going to leave it until I can test that out more. Now, there really aren't any surprises on the items. You can see that I went with overkill on getting basics out in this list, but that's how I've had this deck work well for me and the way that I play. And with the supporters, Lily can really let you get a crazy big hand fast and early, especially when it is drawing for 8 cards at the beginning before you take any prizes. Jacques and Tulip are carryovers from my Tinkaton list, and even if you don't need them for setup anymore to get a Pokemon that you need, you can still play them and just get those extra cards in your hand if you don't have anything else to play. The newest addition to the list is Hilda. Hilda is pretty amazing in here. It works so well in here because you can use it on any turn and it still has a benefit, whether it's getting your Dunsparce back out after you shuffle him in so you can evolve and do the same thing, or if you need an energy for Xatu, or if you need one of these special energies. Hilda does any and all of that. Speaking of the special energy, the A-Spec Enriching Energy is crazy in anything with the Dunsparce. I only recently started using that in Tinkaton, and it is perfect in here. You you can attach it to the Dunsparce, which allows you to draw 4 by attaching that energy. Then you can use the Dunsparce and shuffle the Dunsparce and the enriching energy back in, so you can use it again. So it basically upgrades the Dunsparce's runaway draw to 7 cards every time that you use it. And don't forget that it is searchable with Hilda, because Hilda says search for an energy, doesn't specify. I know there are a lot of things to do in this deck, a lot of moving pieces, but I've literally been shuffled into a 2-card hand with an opponent's Iono, and on the next turn drawn back into a 15-card hand in 1 turn. I'm comparing that to Tinkaton. Tinkaton, obviously, that translates to more damage because it does 30 for each card in your hand. But it's crazy in here because everything in this deck is a single prize Pokemon. As always, if you have any questions, ask in the comments. I think it's time to get our spoons out and just do a little Abracapocus. This first game is going to be against Grimmsnarl EX, of course. Pretty much is the standard bearer for this deck. If you can beat Grimmsnarl, you can beat just about anything else with this. Played a Lily there to get my 8-card hand. Could have played Jock and probably drawn into some better things. Lily kind of left me stuck. I'm going to play that Jet Energy, come up with the Dunsparce, and then I'm just going to find a friend. And with that, I'm just going to get a Xatu. I was going to get that with the Jock anyway. On their turn, they get some energies on their Monkey Dories and pass. So I'm going to start the kind of barrage of cards here. A Rare Candy to the first Alakazam. Use Psychic Draw. We'll draw 3 there. Take that Xatu that we get off Find a Friend. We'll use Clairvoyant Sense. Use that to attach to the Alakazam. Then with the Dunsparce, we'll evolve our active. We'll evolve to Kadabra and get 2 more. Go and get that air balloon on the Xatu. So I have something I can send up to free retreat. You can always send up Dunsparce if you need to. I'm going to play Jacques, get another Dunsparce and another Alakazam. Evolve to second Alakazam, get 3 more. And we're going to runaway draw off of the active, the Dunsparce, and we get that enriching energy. We'll send up the, still not attached this turn, I'll send up the one Alakazam with the psychic energy on it. We attach with Xatu. I will attach enriching energy from my hand, draw 4, then use that same to Dunsparce to draw 3 more. Shuffle all that back in, we'll get another Dunsparce down, and we will powerful hand for 340. I believe that's a 17-card hand. So that takes care of most of the format. We can get a little bit better than that, but they use the TM Evolution Evolve. That Frostlass puts damage on everything, as I think just about everything I have has an ability. Could get 2 prizes off that Eviltal, or excuse me, that Pheasantipity, but I'm going to need to get that Frostlass out of the picture. So there's the enriching energy again on the Dunsparce, or on Dunsparce, and we'll evolve. First 2 Alakazam and get 3. Then we'll get to the Dunsparce. And we'll use Runaway Draw. So another 7 cards from one single to Dunsparce with the enriching energy. That all goes back in. We'll bench a Dunsparce so we can do that again. Air Balloon on Shaman. Powerful hand for 500. That is 25 cards in my hand. And we'll only take 1 prize card, but it's not the limits of what you can do, but it is reaching them. They do finally get to a Grimmsnarl. They knock out my active Alakazam. You see Shaman protects the bench. With no Frostlass there, they're not getting that damage. They can spread around with the Monkey Dories. I'm going to get a Abra back out with my Night Stretcher. Then we'll use Clairvoyant Sense, and we'll attach Psychic to this benched Alakazam. Draw 2 there. Evolve to the Dunsparce. And we will powerful hand for 520. That is 26 cards in our hand. One shot that Grimmsnarl. I skipped a couple turns because they Iono'd me. I got back up to where I could do damage to Grimmsnarl. I could not do enough to knock it out, so I just did not attack it. I let them take some prizes. They knocked out an Alakazam, I think a Tatsugiri, maybe one other card. I think I had a Chatot or something else. I forget what it is they got. But I was just slowly building my hand back up. Trying to thin anything else out that I don't need so I can just keep drawing. They were getting within range of this getting dangerous, so I'm just compiling all the cards I had. You can see I used Tulip there just to get 4 more. Gets me back to 500 again, and we'll one-shot that last Grimmsnarl for a prize and the end of the game. This last game is just a quick look at a match within Zoroark. I'm not really sure why people don't play Darmanitan and in Zoroark more. That's the way I would play it if I was going to, because I do like the sniping part of it. But anyway, we come back to several turns into this. I'm going to go ahead and evolve to an Alakazam. You can see I've already got a pretty good size hand there. Really is one of my complaints with TCGLive is you have counters to even see what your opponent's hand has. There's nothing here to tell you how many cards you have in your hand. So I have to pause several times in this match to actually just count what I have. I tried to cut some of those out because that is kind of tedious, me just moving the cursor along and counting out loud how many cards I've actually got in my hand. But this match also, I'm not playing the Enriching Energies down on the Dunsparce because it is prized. I don't think I get it out even until maybe the very end of the game. But with that in mind, you do want to try to probably get more of your Alakazam line down when that does happen. If you find that out early. So this time, Powerful Hand hits for 320. More than enough to get the ends Zoroark. I guess that's 16 card hand. Not great at math, but pretty sure that's right. And I just skipped ahead to the end for the final knockout. Just again building back up. Manually evolved to Kadabra on the previous turns, so I'm just manually evolving to both Alakazam. Got those off of Jacques. Lose the Jacques, lose 1 card, but it does get you 6, so you net 5 that way. I'm going to use that Jet Energy to drive up the Dunsparce, and then we'll just runaway draw, getting back out of the way. Should have us near the you can see I'm counting my way across there, make sure we do have enough, and we do. So there is this Powerful Hand for 360. It's 18 card hand, gets that final knockout. And there is that Enriching Energy. Now the last 2 things to point out. I used that 40 HP Abra over the 50 HP one because of its ability Teleporter. Just like the Dunsparce, you can attach the Enriching Energy to Abra and then teleport him and the Enriching Energy back in. So that is a neat trick to do early if you need help in getting a better hand or getting set up. The other point is right now I play 1 counter catcher and 1 boss's orders, but I do find myself ahead more times than not. And just like in the first game that I showed you with Grimmsnarl, if that was a boss instead of a counter catcher, I could have ended that game several turns earlier by catching something smaller for that last prize. So that is something to consider and something that I probably will change. If I can find room for a 3rd boss, I'm definitely doing that. This deck is kind of ridiculous, but in a good way. I play it a lot because it is very fun to play. I guess the omnipresence of Monkey Dory is maybe why Alakazam hasn't made a big impact yet. As much as I discuss format decks, air quotes around format, the format right now really is just Monkey Dory with whatever you partner him with. And maybe that new stadium will cut him down a bit. If not, Pokemon may need to look at Monkey Dory because he won't get rotated this time, but that is a topic for another day. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and please continue to support the channel in any way that you can. Get a chance, come out and hang out with me and Randy on our Appalachian Dim Sum podcast, and go down all sorts of rabbit holes with us. And until next time, be not afraid. Later.